أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، وصلى الله على محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Assalamu alaikum, my brothers in Islam. Today is the Fajr of 28th Sha'aban, 31st March. We have a day and a night, or 2 days before we sight the month of Ramadan on the western horizon. Today, this Fajr, you sight on the eastern horizon. Tomorrow, Fajr time, you sight on the eastern horizon. On the 30th, you sight on the western horizon. So my brothers, we have to understand Islam, and I pity you. You cannot understand the Sunnah except in Arabic language, because the Arabic language explains, it leads you, not English language. Even in Peace TV, our producer says there are so many missing points, especially the grammar, whether it is intihai or gaya, and the fasaha is not in English language, probably not in any other language except in Urdu. So when they tell you you sight the moon the 29th day, you have to understand it could be on the eastern horizon, it could be on the western horizon. But if you read this book, Majmu' al-Fatawa, volume 25 by Ibn Taymiyyah, definitely you will understand sighting of the crescent. It begins on the first day, second and the third days, as I mentioned you earlier. Then on the 7th day, then on the 14th day, then on the 21st day or night, then 26th, 27th, and the 28th. If you sight the crescent on the 27th day, and it's extremely small, difficult to sight, or even you are unable to sight it, clear horizon, then the crescent will be 29 days. If you sight it on the 27th day, like this month, it was quite clear, and unable to sight on the 28th day, like today, like this Fajr, then the moon is going to be 30 days. So you sight on the eastern horizon. Then tomorrow, you know it's going to be 30 days. You sight again on the eastern horizon. You have nothing to do on the western horizon, because definitely you know it will not appear there. So my brothers, we have to be extremely careful. Those who cannot read in Arabic language and they don't have the means, the patience, the time, please let them stop saying anything about Islam. We have to kick against it. Now, the question is what you fail to understand is that if the moon is on the eastern horizon, that is, it is going to be visible. I don't know the interval between boundaries or cities or points, but I think it is definitely going to be the same. Then if it's going to set, it's a different time interval again. Because if the moon is rising the first day, if I have other places I phone, like I'm from Kasina, so I phone just close to Kasina, then also phone people in Jibia. Simultaneously we see the crescent. But when it is going to set, there's a difference. Here I usually form the Fulanis around Rukania. There's a difference of a minute or two. If the moon disappears from my area, I form my Fulanis in Rukania. There's a difference of 1 or 2 minutes. So you have to be extremely careful. Please stop deceiving people. If you think you are educated, Western education, you know geometry, you know physics, and you know your coordinates, geography, but you have to understand the same in Arabic language. And you have to be always awake, experimental, research and development, which we don't do. So my brothers, too much deception definitely is the same place, hell. Definitely. Look at this, but now still you are saying that you, the follower, you are not accountable for your mistakes. It is the leader. No. The leader is to be also remembered, the Sunnah is to be corrected. Like Umar ibn Khattab, a lady challenged him during Friday khutbah that you have no right to dictate on us the amount of dowry. Please, Umar, take your time. Give us our own right. Also, what they saw him was a cloak. They asked him, where did you get the material to make that particular cloak? He said, ask my son Abdullah, he gave me his own share. That's why I was able to make this cloak. Look at the importance of prayer. That it's not only the prayer that must be done perfectly, and that if you see mistake, you correct it, but every life of the Muslim Ummah. But unfortunately, we have been deceived that there is exact power. Never in Islam. The exact power is Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, or the one representing him. But even that one must be corrected. You understand, my brothers? And keep on reminding you. Now, another very, very important issue which is not discussed, and I haven't found any scholar, Arabic, the Arabs, explaining it clearly. But that particular fatwa is in Ihya Ulumuddin, Zad al-Ma'ad, and also in other books, which I have forgotten their names. But it is actually timed. It's not the way they have explained, that there is a horizon white thread spreading from north to south. It does actually, but it is not easy even to see it except in a very, very, very clear horizon. So you take the date instead of that particular characteristic or sign. What I keep on emphasizing is you have to make your own ijtihad, my brothers. Because if there is no ijtihad, there will never be consensus and there will never be peace in the world. Because if you are convinced, that means there's no opposition, there's no opinion, there's no disagreement. And that is the life of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and his Sahabas. The fact that they tell us wrongly that there is disagreement in the time of the Sahabas is nothing but one knows, the other doesn't know. But because of their training, if they ask, the correct fatwa is given to them, or the sunnah, but with what the al-dalil. Anything without dalil in Islam is a reject. Because it's not speculation, it's not theory, it's reality. So the time of the suhur is critical. Because if you miss the suhur, you miss your fasting. If you miss the date of sighting the crescent, according to your own ijtihad, what do? You make up that particular date. But I don't think in Nigeria there was ever a time when they sighted the moon arrogantly following Saudi Arabia. They repented and made up the missing first day. They will never do that. So why are we being led like sheep without resistance? Peaceful? No, I'm sorry. That is not the sunnah. So, my brothers, truly speaking, for years, you have been fasting. I hope, I don't know. You see, if Allah will accept ignorance, then you are forgiven. If Allah will not accept ignorance, you are in trouble. I'm sorry to tell you that it's only my father, and vividly, he used to go out at night, or Fajr time, before Fajr, definitely, to just around the bend, Cow, old airport, to sight the Fajr time. When he comes back, he will tell us he has seen the Fajr is today. Then he will not go out again until the next month. So my brothers, I don't know where my father learned this. Maybe his father taught him, or one of his uncles. But I don't think, besides my father, I don't know, there's anyone who goes out and sight the crescent for Fajr. So if there is inheritance, we have also inherited Islam, but unfortunately we are not recognized. So that is the mistake which I pointed out in my book, asking for consensus. Is it true or am I wrong? The second mistake, which is practical, is the time of breaking the fast. You see, the Arabs are wonderful people. Because the Arabs of Hijaz, Mecca and Medina and other places, did not contribute in the confusion of Islam we are experiencing today, because it was in their own mother's tongue. But Kufa, Damascus, and other places, they created confusion because they have to learn the Arabic language. They too, they had learned it. Muhammad had to learn the Arabic language for 6 years or so. So there is no excuse, there is no speciality, nobody is actually exempted from learning Arabic language. But the Arabic language of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, that is his hadith, not the Arabic language of the Quran. It is only the Arabic language of 400 to 600 verses of the Holy Quran, which you don't learn. So, iftar, there are two. Breaking the fast is made up of the breaking the fast during the month of Ramadan, from the beginning to the end. Then the breaking of the fast on the fast of Shawwal. So which one is referred to? If you know how Arabs communicate, especially that there's only one narrator, Anas ibn Malik, definitely you doubt the authority of his narration relating to fasting, because he was 10 years old or almost 12 years old when fasting was ordained. I doubt if he was fasting. So how can his narration on breaking the fast be reliable? And I told you that you must be extremely careful in understanding the Sunnah based on the narrations of the Ansars, because an Ansar could relate a Sunnah based on their practice with the children of Israel in Medina. And if you know the rules and the regulations, you will find that the chain of narrations are all from the Sahabas in Medina. Therefore, you have to be extremely careful and accept that particular hadith as the Sunnah. And therefore, you have to check for the history of the Sahabas. You find very little from Abu Bakr. You find something from Umar. You hardly find anything from Uthman. But you find a lot from Sayyidina Ali ibn Abi Talib, because he moved to where? Baghdad. He moved to Iraq. Therefore, he had to teach. So my brothers, that is what is explained in my book. Astronomical calculations explain the obscurity of the crescent and the common mistakes which you make. Not the mistake of the inner heart, which I'm sure if Allah will strictly follow, your fasting is void, because you keep on an-namima, misinterpretation, paying trivialities. In fact, I don't think actually tafsir of the Meccan verses is a reward. It's rewarded in the month of Ramadan, because I don't know. Certainly, Angel Gabriel will discuss nothing on the Meccan verses of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam in Medina. He will discuss on nothing but the Sunnah. Tawheed is simple. As explained by Abdullah ibn Umar, you need only a letter, a word, an ayah, in the Asura. That's all what you need for Tawheed. Forget about the rest of the Meccan verses. So if you say a word, you need only one word out of 347,000. Only one word to believe in Allah, then come back to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If you say a word, you need only one word out of 6,700. Oh, sorry, 77,000 words. If you need an ayah, you need only one out of 6,000 plus. And if you need a surah, you need only one out of 114. Then the rest, forget about them. Because what are they telling you? There's only one Allah. And you have to obey Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Then you come back now to Medina. Okay? Obligatory prayers, fasting, zakat, and hajj. The two most important, prayer and fasting, because they are compulsory on each and every one of us. Statistically, from 15 years of age. Mecca and zakat, very few. So, why should you waste your time in the month of Ramadan discussing the harmings, for example? Why? Why not concentrate on the Sunnah, hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Not simply you take a textbook and read. No, prepared, like what we get during our lecture sessions. It's not the from textbook the professor will read. He must make his own reading and come to address us. So many references, but what do? You just pick Sahih Muslim without even the sharh. The current sharh, not the old sharh. The current sharh is different. And even that one, you have to read other the history. Some of the answers in the Sunnah are from history. Another big mistake is your timetable. For example, this is your time chapter. Society for the Propagation of Islam. It's nothing but Society for the Propagation of Bid'ah, truly speaking. Now, yesterday was Wednesday. You said the Al-Fijr is 5:18. It's wrong. Although yesterday we didn't cite the crescent, the moon, but on Tuesday you said 5:19. It's wrong. I think I said I saw the moon around 5 o'clock, just a minute to 5. Now here I said 5:19. Where? You keep on adding 1 minute. Okay, you said today, Thursday, it is 5:12. Tomorrow 5:12. Sorry, 5:17. Saturday 5:16. Okay, then when you said Ramadan 5:16, 5:15, it's wrong. My brothers. Then even your Zuhur time, I measured it yesterday. You say it is 12:45. It is 12:51. So you see the difference, my brothers. Your Asr time, it was 3:47. Well, I think this is relatively, I think it was 3:44, my measurement. Because you have to measure also the time of the two prayers within the shadow, not again, as they said, the angle of the sun. So my brothers, you are totally being misled. Totally being misled. But you have to prepare for the answer. Why are you being misled? Ma garraka bi rabbikal kareem. So if you want to help us, read my book. To help us. I'm not saying it is an authority, but definitely practically, as a scientist, you are wrong. As I will repeat, Arabic is not a simple language. Arab expression can be misleading. What is common, he will never mention it to you because we have done it. It's Arab, and Arab is not that waste his time. You know what it is, he knows. Therefore, why is he going to tell you? But definitely, try to convince yourself of the right time of Suhur and the right time of breaking the fast. Between the fast of Shawwal and the 30 or 29 days in the month of Ramadan. These mistakes are universal. So it's left unto you. Assalamu alaikum.